Hello and welcome to another edition of Generation Next. You're tuned into your favorite radio program on Rock City 101.9 FM. And of course, I'm joining you from our studio in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. This is Rock City 101.9 FM. We are the voice of the people. And my name is Bolaji Samson. Thank you so much for joining us. An opportunity to impact lives by doing what you love and getting paid handsomely to do it. Would that make you happy? Enjoying your career is more important than earning a high salary or a flashy title, I tell you. And truly, entrepreneurship is far from easy because I'm one, and it's really, really relatable, but it can be really, really rewarding. Let's not rush. Before you plunge yourself into the world of entrepreneurship, on today's episode of Generation Next, we'll be discussing the steps you should take to build your business. If you feel like you are stuck in a dead-end job and you want to do something else with your life, I have a good news for you. You can actually turn your passions into a business that pays you to do the things you love. Turning your passion into a business is doable. Yes, that's our discussion today. Turning your passion into a profitable business. Our guest will be discussing why people should turn their passion into money spinner to avoid doing or engaging in a job they really don't like. Kindly drop your comment and let's know what you think. We want to hear from you. And of course, most of us think about making a living out of doing the things we love, but don't have the motivation or don't know how to get going. While the goal of this is to identify steps to transforming your passion into a business. Well, you can share your views with us. All right, so joining us to look at today's discussion, we have in the studio two amazing guests. We have a familiar voice and is also a friend of the house. We have Olatunji Gbeson. He's a business builder, a startup coach, an idea developer. Is a creative thinker and is the mastermind behind Chat Food Nigeria. All right. We also have an adorable woman, a strong woman in the house. Her name is Sheba. She is actually my crush. Sheba is an author. She's a mentor, a women's empowerment coach, a grant writer, an entrepreneur. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Bolaji. Good afternoon, Sheba.
Good afternoon. I am so excited to be here.
All right. I think you need to move closer to the microphone. Okay. Yes, we want to hear from you. And it's good to have you on the radio. Thank you so much for joining us at this time. Thank you, Mr. Olatunji. All right, Sheba. Well, going by your lengthy biography, your vision of fulfilling legacies is actually to share unconditional love, as you put it. Therefore, everything you do stems from a place of love. How have you been able to thrive? I mean, your vision particularly in this hateful world.
Oh, goodness. How I've been able to thrive. I've been able to thrive understanding the love of God. To be honest with you, I think that's what gives me strength to keep going. Because as you rightfully said, this world is very hateful. And if you look at it from a carnal standpoint, or if you look at it just looking at it as it is, you can be easily distracted. A lot of times the bad tends to outweigh the good. But if I'm the only one on the planet, and hopefully my brother too, if we're the only two people on this earth that still believes in empowerment and still believes in love and still believes in kindness, then so be it.
That's a great one. So what does Sheba mean?
Sheba stands for she's better after it all.
All right, that's a good. Again? If you can, please.
Yes, Sheba is an acronym that stands for she's better after it all.
Everyone is it fine to call myself Sheba as well?
Of course, every woman can call themselves Sheba.
All right, so today we're talking about turning one's business into a profitable, or turning one's passion rather into a profitable business. Oh, who's first now? All right, now before ladies first, you say. All right,
you go first. No.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. Now, Sheba, what are you most passionate about?
What I'm most passionate about is women empowerment and speaking.
Okay.
And empowering women. Although I've heard recently that what my message, if I can say, or my vision, definitely relates to men, but I know my niche and I know my crowd and I know my purpose is to empower women.
Okay, would you say your vision or your purpose is fulfilling? Is this what you wanted to do?
This is what I wanted to do. I always remember myself thinking when I was younger that I wanted to travel and I wanted to speak and I wanted to, work for myself, and I don't need anybody to dictate my schedule and what time I eat for break and what time I go home. And no, I don't think that's how God intended for our lives to be. And so when I was younger, I always said I wanted to travel, I wanted to speak. Even at a very young age, although I'm one of the younger siblings, my sisters tend to come to me, and not only just my sisters, but other women, they tend to come to me. And although they may be much older, there's still wisdom that they've been able, to grasp from me. And so that was one of the ways that I knew, okay, there's something here. There's something to this. And just my desire, I love to talk. I do. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people don't admit that, but I love to talk because I'm good at it.
All right, now let's switch to Olatuji. Now, how can you describe passion?
All right. So honestly, the first thing I usually say about passion is something you can do without having a price tag on, and something you can do when nobody's looking at you, and something that can keep you up all night. That is something you're very passionate about. Just let me say, coincidentally, I was just coming from a speaking engagement where I had to also engage people on exactly that same topic. So I tell people, right, one thing that you can do, even if there's nothing involved in it, something you can do when nobody has to push you or coerce you into doing it, something that can keep you up all night without you batting an eyelid. That is something you are very passionate about. And it's so easy to identify. I mean, if you can just put all these indices together and say, okay, fine, these are the things I think I can do. If it's not your exact passion, it's going to be pointing you towards your passion. So it's just for you to be able to identify those triggers in you, and then you can identify something you're passionate about.
All right. So can you share with us some of your passions?
Okay, so just like Sheba, right? I like to talk a lot, right? So I can actually spend a whole lot of time doing lots of talking. But aside that, I mean, I know talking is just very broad. I have a thing for young people and business owners. So I spend the entirety of my time looking at business structures and how we can make business structures very profitable. I mean, I used to work in an organization and I had a very large customer base, because for people in the commercial sector, you come around to me and then I see beyond just being your banker. I actually want to be involved extremely in your business. I actually want to see, okay, how can we move this business from point A to point B? And that was what made me develop or discover that I was very passionate about building businesses. So for me, it's not just about keeping businesses to survive. I like to build businesses. I like to turn ideas into profitable businesses. And I actually like to teach people how to do these things, right? So I remember that when I was much younger, I used to have an old grandma that called me professor, right? So in my head, I had always thought I was going to be probably a classroom professor or something, and then I always knew I like to teach people things. I like to talk for a very long time. So when I finished university, I'd applied for lecturing jobs at different places, and then I was turned down. It was much later that I realized that the fact that I love to teach does not mean I had to be in the classroom. I could teach structures, I could teach principles, I could teach theories to people even outside the classroom. And I mean, like my vision for my life, I like to write it at the footnote of my mail. I have been raised to build men that would create life in all aspects of life. I mean, that will influence life itself, right? So that is one thing I like to teach people. I like to teach people how you can actually stand up to become an influencer in your generation, how you can actually start from zero and then build your business up to a top-notch level.
It's all right to say that I'm also, I love to talk too, and I get paid for talking.
Of course.
All right. Now, as a business coach now, why is it important to be passionate about one's business?
Okay, so essentially, right, the reason why passion actually drives your business is even when everything turns against you, your passion keeps you in the business, right? So the difference between someone that jumps on an idea because the idea is profitable to someone that actually jumps on an idea because it's actually born out of passion is the fact that you just don't keep doing the idea for money's sake. You actually keep doing it because there's something burning within you to solve a problem. So for example, Sheba now likes to empower women. So the day that business is no longer profitable for her, the day it can no longer pay her bills, she looks for something else to pay her bills, but she channels all her energy into empowering women. That is passion. But I mean, if somebody sees her and say, oh, Sheba looks good, she wears nice stuff, she uses a good phone, and of course, I want to do what she's doing, that is not born out of passion. The person would actually keep doing what she's doing, but the day it stops stops being profitable, I mean, that's the end for the person. The person looks for the next available profitable business to do. So most important thing in business that I always tell people is it something you are very passionate about? Is it a problem you would like to solve? Is it a problem that every day that you wake up, it creates a heartache for you, right? And that is what drives very profitable business, right? So if you look around us, for example, people that are multi-billionaires, people that are multi-millionaires, that are business people are actually creating a problem. And when you ask them, their businesses are born out of their pain point, and that's passion driven. If your business does not have a pain point that is addressing, you are just in it for profit. Well, first of all, before you eat profitability, it must be something you are passionate about. Because even when all government policies are against you, your passion keeps you pushing ahead and forging ahead in the business.
All right, Sheba, let's hear from you too. How can you describe passion?
You know, I'm very big on words, and I love definitions, and it's something that my brother here alluded to. I was looking at synonyms, like what are some other words for passion, and the one that struck me the most was commitment. And it's something that he's really honing in on. It's because it's almost like love. Love is not a feeling, it's a choice.
Yeah.
So as he said, when that moment when you're not feeling it, it's because you're committed to it. It's because you made a decision, like you said, whether it builds a profit, whether it does not, whether I'm sick, whether I don't have no money in the bank, whether my wife is driving me crazy, whether, you know, but I'm committed to doing this. And so what I thought about saying that, the question should more so be, how can I turn my commitment into a business?
Commitment.
How can I turn, because I'm going to say this, that you can never turn anything that you're not committed to into a business. This is exactly what he's saying, just in a different way. But yeah, so it's impossible. As he said, you'll go and you'll fall. You'll go and you'll fall. It's like, you know, people who like quick success. And one of the things that God told me, and you'll hear me speak about God a lot, so I'm hoping that's okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that God told me is that money is made, but wealth is built.
Yeah.
So anything that you're committed to, anything that you're not committed to, rather, you cannot turn it to a business, nevertheless, a profitable business.
All right, this comment just dropped in now. Don't be profit driven. Never start a business because you want to make a profit out of it. It doesn't work that way. Really? But I have a question as regards that. What then is the sole aim of a business when you're telling me not to be profit driven?
You know, we had actually addressed this sometimes ago when I was on this program, and I had said the very first thing every business person should look out for is solving a problem.
Yes.
Right.
I agree.
There's no money when you're not preferring a solution, right? So do not focus on, I want to make money. I mean, so I make this analogy a lot, right? So you walk down your street and everybody has a grocery store. Everybody sells grocery on the street. Now, the question is, one person could have started it out of passion, right? So we walk down this entire street and there's actually no grocery store. And then someone starts and says, okay, fine. Rather than everybody going to the main junction of the road, can I have something here? And then because you see that this person is making profit, I also decide to now put my own in front of my house. And then this next person also decides to put. So it is no longer solving a problem. We are now beginning to imitate what others are doing because we assume this sense of profitability, right? Now, the big question is, whatsoever business structure you want to create, is it solving a problem? If it solves a problem, it means it is meeting the needs of certain set of people. When it is meeting the needs of certain people, they would actually patronize you and you would make money. So the first thing is not just to conceive and conceptualize a business idea. It is to ask a critical question. Is there a need to be met? The moment there's a need to be met and you're so passionate about meeting that need, the business structure around it will come out, will pop up in your head, and then you can now start a business out of it. So, I mean, I'm always big on it. It is not a business first. It is a problem to solve first.
Okay.
So once you can solve a problem, money will follow. Money doesn't go after businesses. Money goes after solution at all times.
All right, now, Sheba, this is for you now. Which of your passions would you say you've successfully turned into a profitable business?
My ability to create.
Okay.
My ability to create. Because, I mean, not only do I listen, I do a lot. Sometimes people, you know, they try to get me caught up in everything that I'm doing, but I don't get caught up in that. I just keep doing. Because I think once I start looking, it's something about looking at something and you hone in and you pay attention, and sometimes it can be a distraction from the bigger picture. And so what I do is I create. I mean, I create art, I create jewelry, I create create, as you can't see me, but I love Africa, although I wasn't born here. And so I create like Ankara, pillowcases. I'm an author, as you said, so I've created a children's book. I think my greatest strength is the ability to create.
So how was the journey been? Would you say that it's been challenging? What are all the things? How would you just describe the journey to turning your passion into business?
Of course, it's challenging, but what I've come to understand is that anything worth having is worth fighting for, and anything worth having is worth committing to. A lot of times we tend to invest in, we tend to, give every other business and every other corporation and every other entity our blood, sweat, and tears, but we always overlook ourselves. Where we would be quick to, which is fine, of course. Community is beautiful. It's a way of life, but I don't think that it should supersede yourself. Of course, you take the position of a student, but then every student, there's like is a time and season, as the Bible says. There's a time and season. There's a time and season to everything under the sun. So although there's a time that you take the position of a student, but then now it's test time, and now you have to prove, what you've learned, because there's always evidence of growth. There should be, not there's always, but there should be. There always should be evidence of growth. So if someone is, pouring into you, after a while, you owe it to that person to show something, to make something out of it. And so I would say, of course, it's challenging, but that shouldn't stop. Well, that doesn't stop me, and it shouldn't stop anyone else. One of the things that which I was gonna, tap into maybe in a few minutes. One of the things that I have discovered is the blueprint of success is mentorship. So I love the fact that you're a business coach. I love the fact that I'm a woman's coach, because I understand that growth, you cannot grow alone, and I know that sometimes pride can rob us of certain things. Because pride, oh my goodness, pride, it destroys everything, because sometimes we think I can make it, or I've already made it. But as I said before, if you can take the position of a student, if you can remain teachable, if you can cleave on to your mentor or your coach, I can guarantee you will succeed.
All right, now, would you say that, generally speaking, checking out, we've got a lot of entrepreneurs in our generation now. Would you say that they are doing the right job, or is it this kind of copycat business? Because I've got a lot of friends really that my own observation, it's not passion that maybe drove them into business. My friend is doing something, and I think it's profit driven. Let me also delve into it. Now, what's your reaction to this? Because there are a lot of copycat business out there.
Well, I would not call them copycat businesses. I would rather call them survivalist, right? So exactly, right? What I've seen over a period of time is that because of the peculiarity of the kind of system where we run in Nigeria, we have a lot of people that are on the survival brinks. So everybody wants to survive. First of all, at some point, it was recharge card business, selling online, and everybody was doing it. Now it's drop shipping. Everybody's now doing drop shipping. Now, everybody has turned their WhatsApp story to some sort of store. And do you understand? So you move from point A to point B on WhatsApp, and then you see everybody's selling.
Sorry to chip in this, even the POS.
So everybody's doing almost the same thing, right? Now, but the question I ask people when you come around and you say, oh, I want to do this, I ask them really, if tomorrow this business is no longer profitable, do you think you have what it takes to turn it around, reinvent and renovate and make it more profitable? And you find out that a lot of people cannot. So sometimes ago, it was all about everybody wanted to be a business coach. Everybody was a coach. Everybody was a motivational speaker. And, so she was talking about mentorship. And my mentor had said, he tweeted something that was last week. And he said, he tries to imagine how someone who has never worked in a corporate organization, has never been under tutelage, now comes out to say, I'm a business coach. And then he asked, okay, and then somebody said, it's not even the person who is to blame. It is whoever subjects himself or herself to his tutelage that should be blamed. And I see this happen a whole lot. So the moment you see someone very successful in the business, every other person rushes to that field. And I tell them it is wrong. I can stand out in a field and build it over a period of time, right? Even the coaching business as it were, even the motivational speaking business as it were built by people over a period of time. And it is evolving, right? So I'm not saying it It's entirely bad to see what someone is doing. I mean, I can be doing drop shipping, and I like the fact that, oh, BJ is playing with crafts and the likes, and Sheba is also playing with crafts. But I can sit down and say, okay, fine, I don't like to create the crafts, but I like what they are doing. Can I create some sort of networking platform for them and then begin to get people to come and buy the stuff from them? But we don't see people doing that. People just say, Sheba, she drives a Benz. That means there's money in what she's doing. Let me go and copy. So I fight that process thought a lot. I fight that survival instinct a lot. People should stop doing businesses out of survival. I mean, these were the same mistakes some of our parents made. I mean, so everybody runs the normal civil service job. Everybody in Ogun State, largely the larger percentage of people in Ogun State are civil servants. So the retirement plan is to open a shop at either Kuto Market or in front of your house. I mean, life has gone beyond that. Beyond just owning a shop, beyond doing a business, what exactly are the other things you want to do? I mean, I tell people, you do not have to own a business. You can be an investor. You can put a lot of your money and play in the investment space, and you do so well in it. So I think it's not passion that drives people to keep doing the same thing. It's just survival. So everybody wants to do something, and also because we've also created a narrative that makes you look lazy if you're not an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to do it too, and I fight that entire thought process. I have seen people walk up to me for coaching, and I ask questions. And immediately after your first few statements, I know that you can never do well in business. And I just tell them, don't waste your money, don't waste your energy. Pack your money and go and read up about where you can play. There are agricultural investment schemes, there are stock that you can buy, and look for these things and put your money in them. I mean, I tell people, by the time I'm at a certain age, I don't want to do any business again. I just want to sit down in my house, take coffee in the morning, and look at where I can put my money, look at stocks where I can buy, look at businesses where I can invest in, and I roll like that for till I die. I don't want to do the stress again. So we must now begin to open up people's mind to these possibilities. Some people's passion is to see businesses succeed. You do not have to be the business owner. You can fund these businesses. Some people are so good at getting money out of your pocket to put in this person's business. Let's encourage people to do that same thing and say, okay, fine. You can create an investment circle and say, okay, BJ, bring money, Sheba, bring money, and then let's put it together and invest in this person's business. I mean, these are the things we should begin to encourage people to look at, and stop boxing everybody into this entrepreneur mentality. We have so many CEOs without any office. Everybody would, I mean, check Facebook profiles and you see CEO of whatever. Ask them, how many employees do you have? None. You understand? So I think it's just survival instinct, and also this sense of I don't want to be seen as a lazy person that is driving everybody into doing the same kind of business.
All right, Sheba, do you have anything to add?
Wow. Woo! I mean, the only thing I'm sorry. The only thing that I would say is that, I mean, he said a lot, and I totally agree. But one of the things that rang in my ear was true. I had a conversation with someone last week, right? Because their grades, if I can use this word, well, I'm going to say this, were horrible. I mean, it was atrocious. And I'm just like, what? And everybody's like, oh no, the person gave effort. They gave effort. And I'm usually one to speak the truth, and sometimes people don't like it, and it's okay, because I've learned to be okay with that. And so usually in situations where people, they condone certain behavior, or they encourage people to settle, and even though they're not saying settling, but really what they're saying is to settle. And so what I did was I just ended the conversation and I said this, right? I said, I've never seen a person who gave A effort and received the F. I've never seen it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do have systems that are rigged, right? So that's a different conversation. But at the heart of it, I've never seen a person. So you cannot tell me that you gave an A effort and you received a D. There's something wrong with that. And so hopefully this person hearing that truth, I'm not going to sit here and pacify. I'm not going to sit here and stroke your emotions. I'm going to propel you to where I see your potential. And the funny part is that the person wants to be a doctor and they're failing in science and math. I said, no. Someone has to tell the truth, because you're setting her up for failure. So in everything that you said, what really hit me was the fact of the example that you gave as far as telling the person truth. If you're an entrepreneur, entrepreneur, listen, you got it. If you're not, no. No. Because everybody's not supposed to be an entrepreneur, right? And this is where the truth comes in.
Almost all my friends are anyways.
And this is where the truth comes from. This is why coaches are coaches, not to be funny, and mentees are mentees. Because you need someone that's going to tell you the truth. And they're not going to pacify your emotions. Because your emotions are like water. They go up and down. One day we're good, one day we're not. You know, this is why I told a person, when you choose your mentor, you can't choose them based upon emotion. You have to choose them for where you see yourself and where you want to go. Because it's almost like the purpose of your mentor is to upset you, to get you so frustrated that you counteract it with passion. You counteract it with discipline. You counteract it with everything that you need in order for you to get to where you're supposed to be.
All right, then it brings me to this question now. So, what are your mentors?
My mentor, I have a few.
Okay.
And it depends on, different aspects of my life.
Okay, you can share with us.
Of course, absolutely. So my professional mentors is, I can give you names, I just love them so much. But one of them is Dr. Sanchez, right? And another one is Claudine. She, as far as my profession, as far as one of the things I do is I educate, just, early child education. And when I tell you opportunities that they've given me that I didn't even see, I'm thinking to myself, me? Who? Me? And they're like, of course you can do it. And sure enough, they were right, because a mentor have the ability to see. They have to be able to see, because you can't have the blind leading the blind, obviously. And then when it comes to spiritual things, it's my pastor, apostle. Her name is Anne Marie. And again, a mentor is, I don't know if you have this term in Nigeria, but in the United States, it's like they've been there and they've done that. So why would I have someone who's further behind me? That doesn't make any sense. It has to make sense. And so I have a few mentors because I understand that it's critical to my destiny. It's critical to me reaching my fullest potential and purpose.
All right, your mentors. Before I ask them the needs, how necessary is it for us to have a business coach, a business mentor before delving into a business?
Well, really, it's essential that you do have a business coach.
I was going to ask you to tell us your mentors.
Okay, so I should tell you, right?
Yes.
I'll just give you one name, and
okay.
His name is Kola Oyene.
Okay.
This is someone that pictures my life in everything I want to do. So just like she said, right? If you have a mentor who you can't see your life in, then that person is no longer your mentor. So essentially for me, it took me a very long time before I could choose someone out as my mentor. And then I look at my spheres of influence in life, and I look at this person and just this person is actually playing at the level at which I want to play at all the stages.
Not a social media mentor.
Your mentor is not your mentor if you do not have some level of relationship with your mentor.
I think we need to educate ourselves.
So it's a different thing for you to have a role model and for you to have a mentor. There must be some level of communication between yourself and your mentor. So for me, I have two people I look up to greatly, Trevor Akindele and Kola Oyene. Two fantastic human beings. They play in all sectors I play in. And these are people I can walk up to at any point in time and say, see, my life is turning upside down and I need to talk to you. These are people that would call me 12 a.m. and tell me, this is the way I want you to go. Recently I had to do some job switch, and he had to come and say, no, don't go for this. This is where I see you. This is where you can play best. And of course I had to agree. The other position was way higher and the other was not that way higher. But he said, this is where I think your potential lies. This is what you can do best. And this is where you can excel in life. So essentially that is the role of a mentor. He's supposed to show you the path based on the things he or she has done over a period of time. So, and then for young people that are into businesses, the reason why it's essential for you to have a business coach or a business mentor is when you are busy with the work, when you are busy with creating the ideas, some people see ahead of you. Some people are seeing the things you're not seeing and they'll keep pointing it out to you. So when you are busy creating and ideating, some people are looking out for you and they are pointing you in the directions you ought to go. It's just like when you are younger and then your parents actually carry you on their shoulder. You tower high above them, but they still see way ahead of you, right? So that is the role of a mentor in business. They have been there. They might not be doing the same business as you are doing, but they have insight, deeper insights more than you have, that they can share with you and then help you avoid certain holes that you can actually get yourself into, right? So, I've seen a lot of people that I've actually mentored and coached over a period of time excel exceedingly in their business. Is why I have information they don't have access to. I have contact they might most likely not have contact with in a very long time in their life. I mean, so for example, I walk into my mentor's office and I tell him, sir, I do this thing, and he said, oh, okay, and then he calls me and says, oh, you need to go and see this person, and I go see this person, and then this person calls someone right in my front. This is someone that ordinarily, if I am going to see, I am not so sure in the next 5, 6, 7 years I can actually have that kind of one-on-one conversation with him, and that is the role of a mentor. So I mean, for everybody in business, it is essential you either have a coach or you have a mentor. At worst, have a role model. At worst, have a role model that has actually done this thing and you can actually copy their model. The reason why I would always encourage people to have a coach or a mentor and not a role model is a role model is static, it's stereotyped. You can only copy what they've done. Your mentor or your coach can adjust to real life situation. So a lot of people will tell you, when you ask people in the tech space and they say, oh, who's your role model? And then they say, oh, it's Mark Zuckerberg. And I tell them, so you do not have level of interaction with Mark. So Mark has created whatever he has created and you're just modeling it after. But Mark himself constantly changes things from time to time, right? People change from time to time. Situations change from time to time. So the role of your mentor is to guide you through this process. The role of your coach is to walk with you through this process and not just to leave you by yourself to make mistakes.
All right, we've got this comment. It's actually not easy to start up a business. The profit would not come rolling in overnight. But at the end of the day, you will find fulfillment in what you do, consistency. Like starting a business and within 6 months, no profit yet. Is it enough for you to just feel like you're in the wrong business?
Well, like I said, so that's where passion comes in, right? That's where commitment comes in.
So if you're not passionate about it,
I mean, you would
back out.
That's the point, right? So for example, now Sheba must have been doing something, and over a period of time, it was not the way it was 5, 6 years ago, 3 years ago, where she started, that it is right now, right? So it is consistency and commitment to that cause that has kept her where she is and has actually opened her up to where she is right now. So I mean, so when people start a business and then you expect the money to start rolling in, it doesn't work like that. So every benefit, there's a cost. So you must always do your cost and benefit analysis at every point in time. So I want to start a business and I'm starting with X Naira. I do not expect my X Naira back almost immediately. Okay. That is where I have issues with a lot of young entrepreneurs, right? So you start a business and in the first month, you assume that you have made profit. And then the next thing you do is start doing lifestyle financing. And that's why a lot of Nigerian businesses do not survive generations. I mean, Coca-Cola has been in existence for how long, right? So do you understand? We have outside Nigeria, we've seen a lot of businesses that have survived generations. But in this part of the world, we find out that, I mean, some of these businesses do not even survive 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And then we heard that they've gone under. Why?
Because you copy other people's ideas.
Do you understand? I mean, you just copy and paste and then you make it work for yourself. And then honestly, everybody's in business to make money. And it's wrong. It's wrong. Money would come after you've created a solution to a problem. So I mean, this is a mobile device. Somebody thought twice of it and said, oh, we need this, right? The reason why people are creating improvement is because they are creating solutions to problems, and we will buy. And that is the way solutions are. People would consistently spend on solutions that meet their needs. And it's just like that. So a lot of young entrepreneurs today will start a business and say, oh, first month,
start cash out.
You cash out, and then next minute is, I mean, you go buy a Benz, and then you change your phones and everything, and then you start doing lifestyle financing, and then the second month the business runs into some sort of issues, and then you need to pump money, and then there's no money. I mean, that's the end of the business, right? So people don't understand these things. People don't understand that 6 months is just the teething stage of a business. 1 year, a business is still at its teething stage. You do not even understand the business fully. So it takes a lot of time pouring yourself into the business and understanding the principle of delayed gratification in business.
Wow,
that's
another
very important. Delayed gratification. The profits will come, but first of all, the business must stand on its own. I say this, and I say it with all emphasis. You are your business, but your business is not you. You can pour your entire life into your business, but your business does not need to feed you unnecessarily. What your business owes you is just salary. Your salary and other entitlements, nothing more. So, but the moment your business starts financing your lifestyle, you have started digging the grave of that business.
Well, you mentioned something now. Delayed gratification is key in business growth. Do you have anything to say to that, Sheba?
No, I don't.
Even as an entrepreneur as well, I see this. I just got familiar with that. Delayed gratification. Everybody wants to be appraised. Like, yeah, she's a good worker. Anyways, we've got this comment. Quit procrastinating. Just start. Okay? People tend to give excuses when they want to embark on something, blaming it on lack of funds, time, or resources. The problem with a lot of people is that they are afraid to start because they are afraid to fail. Fear is the greatest barrier to achieving your goals. All right. And this last one, this is from the twin, says, our financial intelligence. You cannot just start a business without having any idea how much capital you will need, the running cost. You need to have financial knowledge. If you don't know much about finance, you can't seek assistance from anyone who knows a lot about money and finance. All right, now as a business coach, what do you have to say about going into loan or getting loan to start up a business?
Okay, so I think I'll start from what I think it should be Dotun said, that you should have some level of financial intelligence, right?
Yes.
I say this a lot. Before you build a business, build yourself. Now, you need to understand, if you're going into a business, your cash flow analysis before you go for a loan. So I want to get a loan of 5 million naira from a bank to put in my business. I need to understand, is my business capable of paying back this money? I honestly don't encourage people to start a business off with a loan. I encourage you to bootstrap at least for the first 6 months. Make all the mistakes you can make, because see, loans don't come cheap. And then you already put a lot of pressure on your business when you're starting off with a loan. You're already putting a lot of pressure, right? Because I mean, I get 5 million naira from Sheba, for example, at 10%. It means already my business hasn't started, and I'm already incurring an additional interest of 10% already. So in whatever I'm doing, I need to pay 5 million naira and then 10% over a period of time, which I've been given the money. That's a lot of pressure on me. So, but it makes a lot of sense if I start small and then have a scalable plan over a period of time. See, what I've seen wrong with a lot of young people is the fact that we always want to start big. No, it doesn't work like that. See, that is why scalability is very important in business. I must be able to say that I'm starting at point X with X naira. I will get to point B with X naira. And then I will inject 10 million naira into my already existing capital to get to point Z. But you don't see people do that. Everybody just wants free money. Anybody that wants to start a business with a loan most likely does not even understand the principles of business. A lot of businesses started with loans never succeed because you would always keep paying back the loan. And that's why people will start borrowing from X to Z all the time to keep the business running. So, I mean, my word of encouragement is start with bootstrapping. Gather what you can get. Borrow if you can get from your parents, if you can, and also start your business with goodwill. If I want to start something and I can actually tell Sheba, I can sell this bottle of water for you at X amount, but I mean, for clarity's sake, just give me 5 naira out of the 10 naira meant for the purchase of water. When I deliver, I'll get my 5 naira, and I go to the supplier of the water and I said, see, give me this bottle of water. I would bring the full money back. This is X amount that I have. I'll bring the X amount once I've sold this. That is how businesses are created. A lot of successful business people understand the importance of credit rather than loan. Credit does not always have to come in form of cash. It comes in form of goodwill at times. And that is where our generation is lacking. We are very, very bad set of human beings. And that's why people cannot even trust us with stuff.
But we see a few ones with integrity anyways.
Very
all right,
few.
now, Sheba, it's all right, no. For young ones listening that are battling with discovering passion in life, so how can we find our passion and live a fulfilling life?
How do you find your passion? You have to look at what you're good at. What are you good at? Like, what's in your head? What skills do you have? What abilities do you have? What interests you? And you know, it's just, like I said, I don't know if they use this term here, but you may hear us, listen, you got to keep it real. Keep it real with yourself. I know we hear this term, the jack of all trades. That's not real. I mean, come on. As he said, you know, you have to start small and then you develop and you have to become, which I love that, become becoming so that when you finally get to this place, you know how to handle it. You know, before in New York, there's like this everybody's telling you, get an LLC, do an LLC, do an LLC, do an LLC. Do you know it's over maybe 3 years that I was speaking. I was going to events. I'm like, listen, you ain't gonna pay me a dime. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna look cute, and because it's about exposure. If you know my name, I mean, you know, then that means that you would tell your friend, oh, I know this girl that can speak. I know this girl that can speak. And as he said, at that particular time, I wasn't making no money, but people knew my name, you know. So even before I even decided to apply for an LLC, I was like, no, I want to get to know, what does it mean to do this? I want to network and get to know people. I want to, you know, get my name out there, to get my name exposed. And then finally, when I said, okay, now I'll do it. And not that I had to, but I was like, I'll just do it. Just for, you know, sometimes like even with a degree, you know, there's plenty of people who are successful and don't have a degree. It's that same concept. Okay, I'll just do the degree just for the sake of doing. I know that's probably not something good to say, but I'm gonna say anyway. But yes, so just what are you good at? What is your passion? What drives you? As my brother here said, what drives you? What gives you joy? I mean, speaking literally gives me joy. I mean, I can, as you said, you have a salary that pays your bills and you have, you know, these other streams of income. And it's like, I can be exhausted. I'm telling you, I'm tired. I'm like, oh my goodness. And as soon as I hear the word Sheba, energy just comes out of nowhere. And I'm ready to post a video. I'm ready to write, you know, something. So it has to be, what are you good at? What are you good at? And then also, as I said before, you know, God will give you insight. Eventually, even if it's not your purpose, there's certain things that would begin to push you towards the nucleus, the core of your purpose. And so, yeah, I know it sounds simple, but what are you good at? Just start there. What are you good at?
All right, Sheba mentioned something, jack of all trades, but really, is being a jack of all trades, is it a good thing as a business coach?
Well, the answer is in the quote itself that says master of none. Right, so your ability not to master a particular trade is so much problem for you, right? So, you know, talent remains talent until there's a lot of work done to it and then you upgrade it to skill, right? So you do not become a master at something till you have paid a lot of attention to upgrading it. So yes, you can be good at so many things, but be known for one thing. And that's it. I mean, so when people call your name and say, oh, this person, or they can tell you, oh, this person does it, but there must be something that you are always at your best at. So even if it's in business, right, you can have chains of businesses, but there must be one that, I mean, you don't need anybody to run it for you. You are the chief innovation officer of that business. You are the chief executive officer. That business is your life. You know that if anything happens to that business, every other thing will suffer. What is that one thing? Even in your day-to-day activity, what is that one thing that, I mean, essentially makes up your being, essentially summarizes your existence? I mean, you can have interest in politics, you can have interest in ministry, you can have interest in sports, but there must be something that summarizes your core that you can spend your money on without batting an eyelid. Yes, that is the master of the thing that you are.
All right. Just before we wrap up the show in a nutshell, what are the things we need to know about her passion, Sheba?
Understanding time and season. I think doing a good thing at the wrong time. doing a good thing at the wrong time. You have to understand timing. You have to understand your own timing, not just timing, but timing and season. I love this. I love this. Becoming this person. So like I said before, when you get to this place, you know how to handle it, and you won't abuse it, and you won't take it for granted, and you won't, because you work for this. I mean, things that you work for, no one can take it from you. And as he said, this is the problem with this generation. Going back to the example that I gave before, I mean, the grades were horrible. It was just like, okay, you know, like it was just okay. But if she had to work for those grades, then no one can take that. She knows, or whoever knows rather, that I've earned this. You know, I've earned my badge, as they say. I've earned my rights. This is something I've earned. And so understanding time and season, understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses. You know, I think people, like somebody made a comment as far as failure. Listen, if you're a if you're afraid of failure, I'm gonna say have a seat. You're not ready for business. If you're afraid to fail and fall and criticism, whether it be positive, some people is I don't want you to criticize me. It's only if it's good. Have a seat. You're not ready for business.
It's part of the journey.
It's a part of the journey. I mean, like I said, it adds more flavor. It adds more season to your life, and so it's a part of the ride. You just gotta be able to put your seatbelt on and have a good time. You know, this is just it's a part of the journey.
So how have you been able to embrace stuff like that, the ills, those times that could seem challenging? How have you been able to encourage yourself? What has been a major force?
Major force is God, Jehovah, the King of Kings. I'm serious, and this is where Sheba comes from. I always told God that I would always give him credit. I don't care what platform, because this is a name that he gave me, and he gave me Sheba. And after every single thing, this may be a program for another time, but if we just to sit and to tell you all the things that I've been through, and he said, Sheba, even after everything you've been through, you're still going to be better after it all. And so God, I'm telling you, I wish I could lie, but I really can't. It's God that gave me my greatest strength to face a lot of the challenges that I even see other people or my, like your colleagues or your friends, and they're like, they didn't make it. They're not in their right mind. I mean, they taken a position of a victim, and I'm just like, you got to come a little harder. You got to come a little stronger, because you're not going to push me down. And even if I do fall, I'll get back up and I'll keep it moving. So the force, the being, I would never lie to you. It's God.
All right. I just want to say a very big thank you. Thank you for being a part of today's edition, Generation X. All right. Let's have your pattern shot, Mr. Latuji.
All right.
To every young entrepreneurs listening as a business coach, what's your advice?
I mean, like I always say, do it afraid. Nothing good comes easy. I mean, and just like I said, where I was coming from, do not let life happen to you, happen to life. At every point in time, happen to life. Sheba said, if you fall, rise again. If you have a passion, go for it. If it fails, you've only learned another way to do it better. Thank you.
All right. I want to say a very big thank you. Thank you so much, Sheba. And thank you so much, the friend of the house, Mr. Olatuji Beso. Well, and that has been with Olatuji Beso. He's a business builder. He's a startup coach, an idea developer, creative thinker, and the mastermind behind Chat Food Nigeria. And that has also been with Sheba. She is an author, a mentor, a women's empowerment coach, a grant writer, and an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for being a part of Generation X today. So have a safe weekend.